so I can get started?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Professor Alberto de Salvatierra. I'm the Associate Dean Undergraduate and Associate Professor of Urbanism and Data in Architecture. I'm also Director of the Center for Civilization, a design research lab at SAPL. So it is my pleasure to welcome you at UCalgary. Congratulations on your acceptance letter. We're now going to get into some information and share more about what it's like to be part of the University of Calgary and specifically the School of Architecture, Planning and Landscape and the BDCI program. So first, I'd like to begin with a territorial acknowledgement. The University of Calgary, located in the heart of Southern Alberta, both acknowledges and pays tribute to the traditional territories of the peoples of Treaty 7, which include the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprised of the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda, including the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and the Goodstoney First Nations. The city of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 5 and 6. So our agenda for today, we'll begin with a welcome. We'll follow with some speaker introductions, both the undergraduate program specialists as well as some student representatives that we have here with us today to speak to their experience in the BDCA program. We'll also share a little bit more about SAPL. Then we'll go into program advising, which will include common degree terms, look at your first year courses and other student resources, and we'll conclude with some conversation around student experience, both student learning and perhaps what you can expect in a typical day. Then we'll go with closing remarks and we'll leave some time for Q&A. Now, Alexa, just so I'm on time, how much time should we leave for the Q&A at the end of the session?
Anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes would be great.
Fantastic. So let's get going. So everyone, it's my pleasure to introduce Sarah Ha. She's the undergraduate program specialist and the most knowledgeable person when it comes to anything and everything related to BDCI curriculum, course enrollment, the various different intersections between the logistics side of completing your degree and the student experience. Sarah, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Hi, everyone. You're probably going to get a lot of emails from me, and I hope that you also use this opportunity to connect with me for any advising sessions, both in person and virtual. But I'd love to meet you all, and I'll definitely work a lot with you once you join BDCI as well.
Thank you, Sarah. We're also joined by a few of our BDCI students, Chloe Layel, Michaela Lexama, and Michaela Reed Samuel. We'll be hearing from them towards the end of the presentation, so I'll save their introductions for then. So thank you, everyone, for joining. So we're gonna do a quick video, a quick sort of experiential video of what you can expect for SAPL.
Welcome to a distinctly different design school experience. Community engaged, performance driven, entrepreneurial, impact-oriented, and future-focused. We are training leaders to become catalysts for positive local and global change so that you can learn how to develop solutions to help solve some of the world's great problems.
Even me?
Really? Yes, definitely you. Through challenge-based learning, collaborations with industry, building and prototyping solutions, we are expanding the idea of what it means to be a designer. With bold thinking for the built environment, for sustainability, for equity, for health, for vibrancy, cities made for people and the good of the planet. It's not going to be easy, but you can make change happen. You can change the world. You can create the future of city building.
Look at that, our very own iPhone commercial. Just kidding. I hope that was a great little intro into SAPL and some of the spaces and some of the types of projects and the certain sort of haptic tactile experiences that you can sort of expect as part of this program. And Alexa, just to check, is my sound working? I should have done this, maybe at the beginning.
It was a little bit quiet, but I could hear it.
Okay, I'll increase my volume in case for any subsequent videos. All right, so let's keep moving along. This video is also
Welcome to
available in our YouTube channel if you'd like to revisit it. So who are we? Who is the School of Architecture, Planning and Landscape? You know, we consider ourselves designers, explorers, researchers. We delve into topics of the built environment through a variety of different lenses: the environment, ecology, design justice, but also sustainability, computation. These are things that are very important to us, and we execute them through our variety of programs. In addition to the Bachelor of Design and City Innovation, which is what we'll be talking about today, we also offer a Master of Architecture, a Master of Landscape Architecture, a Master of Planning. We also offer a Doctor of Design and a PhD in Environmental Design, as well as our Master of Environmental Design, which is a postgraduate research-based thesis degree. And all these different offerings across these different disciplines contribute to a rich and transdisciplinary community that enables and facilitates innovative thinking, innovative design thinking with regards to the built environment. We currently have 2 campus locations. We have one in our Northwest Campus, or more appropriately known as Main Campus, in the Professional Faculties Building. Later this afternoon, we'll be hosting another event similar for this for in person. I don't know if any of you might be attending. So we have our facilities in the main campus, and then we also have a building downtown next to City Hall, next to an LRT train station, called the City Building Design Lab. And this has the studios of the MArch program. This has a public gallery, which is what you see in this image here on the right. We have robots and 3D printers. We have studios, a digital fabrication lab. Now, I share these 2 with a caveat, in that as the School of Architecture, Planning and Landscape continues to expand, we will be moving to a new downtown location in the upcoming years where the entire school will be able to fit. So in this next academic year, the entire BDCA program will be in main campus, and some of the graduate programs will be in our downtown location. But in the future, we will be coming together to a new downtown location, all both the BDCI and the undergraduates, and as well as the graduates. And we'll be taking over several, 6 to 11 floors of a tower and rehabilitating it and converting it into a 21st century architectural school. So here I have another video on the City Building Design Lab to again share some of the facilities that we have down there if you have not gotten an opportunity to visit, although this is open to the public whenever we have lecture events.
The City Building Design Lab is a place for youthful optimism.
We needed somebody to come in and really activate it. So more than just a coffee shop, more than an office space, we wanted to have it be active. CMLC's investment over the next 5 years is intended to create a comprehensive village. It's about bringing in people. So the more diverse uses, the more diverse thinking that we have in the area, the more successful we all can be.
When you first walk into the City Building Design Lab, there is a large gallery space that's going to be open to the public, and it's going to be filled with a rotating series of exhibits. Some of it will be student work, some of it will be some of our research work. We also have a studio, a design studio, where 60 of our students are working every day on projects related to the city. Come down and try it. There's a wide range of things. We've got a big tent.
We're in a time of flux right now in the city, and I think what better pairing to have students who are really at the forefront of thinking about those issues and come at it from a design thinking perspective.
So that's just a quick snapshot and look at our City Building Design Lab.
The City Building Design Lab.
We also have a few other pictures. So this is a view from the outside. The structure that you see here was a design build project led by one of our faculty members, Professor Mauricio Soto Rubio, in collaboration with students as part of a sort of a summer research project. This installation is no longer there, but it was there for a number of years. And again, this sort of shows our commitment to communities, and that we're constantly working to improve conditions and not only beautify the city, but provide really strong design alternatives to the various ways that we think about certain infrastructures. Here we have a view of an exhibition that was taking place within the City Building Design Lab that you can see sort of from the outside. So things like models and images are very much important to our work, and we celebrate these through exhibitions, both of student work, of research work done with faculty and students, of other industry professionals as well. Here are a few images of the interior of that exhibition and that space. As I mentioned earlier, the CBD Lab is also our largest event hall. So this is where we host our Design Matter lecture series, where we host international and worldwide renowned architects, landscape architects, urban planners, to talk about their professional experiences and their work across different geographies. These are also spaces where we have reviews, where students at the end of a semester or in the middle, if it's a midterm review, for instance, will get an opportunity to present their work, present their models, their maquettes, their work, and get critiqued. And this is an image of a studio that I taught a year and a half ago in collaboration with the Canadian Urban Institute. And again, some of our spaces, which double as classroom spaces, can also be double as exhibition spaces. So if you haven't had an opportunity to visit the City Building Design Lab, I would highly recommend that you visit, although over the summer we'll be doing some additional work and renovations. So we've talked a little bit about sort of a contextual overview of SAPL, some of our spaces, but I think now it's time to talk about what we're all waiting to hear, which is about the Bachelor of Design and City Innovation, the program to which you have all been accepted. So congratulations. This was a very competitive program. Last year, this was the third most competitive program across the university. The numbers for this year haven't come out yet because it's still somewhat in progress. But for all of you who were admitted early, congratulations. This program offers a design-based framework for thinking about the world, its challenges, and how to create inclusive and sustainable city-focused solutions. So what characterizes the BDCI program as specific and unique? It's a hands-on, studio-based learning that tackles real-world projects. Classes are taught in advanced digital design tools, data science, entrepreneurship, and sustainability. And we're really looking to help spark innovation for the betterment of our communities and society. As many of you are probably intimately aware, there are a lot of challenges occurring around the world at this very moment. And how can we as designers contribute positively to this equation is one of the central questions of our disciplines. The BDCI requires the completion of 120 units and normally takes 4 years of full-time study. However, if you have questions around different types of workloads and other types of arrangements, we can direct those questions at the end, and Sarah will be happy to answer them. So maybe to go over some common degree terms. So this is a bachelor's degree, Bachelor of Design and City Innovation. It's 120 units, as I mentioned, 4 years of full-time study. You have the opportunity to declare a concentration, which is minimum 18 units of architecture or landscape architecture. So there's only those two concentrations. You can also pursue a minor, which is 30 units, or an embedded certificate, which is 12 to 24 units. Now, the ability for one to pursue all of these things simultaneously, the concentration, the minor, and the embedded certificate, is probably difficult. So one might have to pick between a few of these options. And if you have questions about those things, we can answer them towards the end. But these are the sort of the basic options that you have available to you. Now, for first-year courses, and remember to register for both fall and winter courses at the same time, we have this suite of courses. So we have Design 201, which is your studio course, Design 211, which is visualization or introduction to graphics, which delves with the Adobe Suite, but also our 3D modeling software. Design 221, which is sort of an introduction to design in the built environment, the history of design, and 231, which is sort of the introduction to urban systems and infrastructures. And then finally, sustainability course, which is Design 241 or SUST 201. Now, Design 241 is the SAPL's version of the sustainability course, but you also have the opportunity to take SUS 201 if you're interested in the sustainability certificate. There are pros and cons to taking each of those courses. For example, the Design 241 version will be more themed to the built environment. However, SUS 201 perhaps enables the pursuit of the sustainability certificate. So there's a few options there. But you must take these 5 courses in the fall in order to progress at the sort of appropriate rate for completion in 4 years, because some of these are prerequisites to further courses. And if you have questions about prerequisites, anti-requisites, and things like that, we can also discuss that at the end. In the winter semester, the courses follow the exact same structure. 203 is the studio course, 213 is visualization 2, 223 is actually introduction or shaping the contemporary city, which is sort of a discussion-based seminar on cities. And then we have our 2 sort of extra disciplinary offerings beyond what is typically taught at SAPL, which is Design 253, which is looking at the intersection between entrepreneurship and the built environment, although there's also the opportunity to take NT 201, which is the entrepreneurship course offered by Haskane, and then also Design 263, which is Introduction to Design Computation, or Data 201. Data 201 is offered by Computer Science, and NT 201 and Data 201 are options if you're interested in sort of pursuing a certificate or minors in those areas. However, Design 253 and 263 are also very, very strong choices, given they'll be very closely linked to the rest of the courses and to the overall sort of SAPL disciplines. Now, here we have some QR codes. I'll spend maybe a minute on this slide. You can take out your cell phones or take a screenshot of this image here. Here on the left, we have the BDCI degree planning, and then the BDCI program advising. There are a number of different helpful resources on that website, including program guide diagrams that show the progression between different courses. Sarah, is there anything you'd like to add while we're on this slide?
Nothing to add. I would just recommend that students bookmark these pages because they're very helpful, and often students go back to them to refer to how to use certain things, especially the BDCI degree planning guide, planning page, because it has different types of guides there. So you can refer to a written one or the diagram one. There's also video resources on there that you can refer to on how to register, common terms in registration. And there's also the registration workshop we did a while back that's recorded that you can also view that if you missed it previously.
Thank you, Sarah. And again, so you can recommend you save these links so you can revisit them at the end. And if you have further questions, we can address those at the end as well. So some additional student resources. So we have a virtual Ready for September event on July 22nd from 10 to 11:30. So please join us to learn about the transition to university, additional student resources that are available to you, and what you need to do to prepare for classes. If you also would like to access our student support services, the link on the right, the QR code, would enable you to access a variety of different options, because we understand student life can be demanding, and it's important for us to get the support that you need, both within the SAPL community and across the University of Calgary community. So I'll spend another maybe 30 seconds here in case you want to capture these links as well.
Hi, Alberto. I just want to mention as well for people that if you're struggling a little bit with the QR codes, I also dropped the links into the chat.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alexa. That's extremely helpful. I know sometimes the QR codes don't always work for me, so that's going to be very, very handy. An important reminder, we are also sharing a new student survey. So if you're able, we would love it if you could complete a short survey to help us prepare for your arrival, right? These are to help customize the experience and understand what are the needs that everyone has, given that everyone's different. So again, I'll spend another 30 seconds here.
And I will add that this is important to fill out ahead of time because we do have to pre-order things, set things up. So filling this out, let's say at the end of August or right before you come in, isn't as helpful as filling it out now or early in the summer. So we do appreciate it if you can fill it out today, right now, or right after this session.
Yes, absolutely. The sooner you can, the better, because it gives us more ample notice to prepare for your arrival. So again, help us help you. All right, so progressing into a little bit more about the student experience in the Bachelor of Design and City Innovation program is the studio learning. Studio learning is probably the heart, the core of the student experience. Studio learning is probably most analog to an art workshop or atelier where there's a bunch of tables and materials and you're sort of working in a process of co-collaboration and co-creation with a faculty member. So we don't, for many of our courses, we don't have traditional classrooms where you sit and then somebody talks at you. We have the studio learning, which sort of really enables a sense of exploration and developing sort of viable design solutions. So students generate these sorts of work, identify real world challenges, and guide and review their work through formal and informal critiques, as I mentioned earlier. So other aspects of studio learning are informal peer-to-peer learning. Here we believe that you have an opportunity not only to learn from faculty, but also from each other, as each of you bring with you a rich diversity of perspectives and experience prior to joining the University of Calgary. Studio learning also facilitates project work and collaboration with community-based clients and partner organizations. So every student is assigned a desk in pairs of two. You also each get your own monitor screens. You will have to bring your own laptops to connect to them. You'll get your own locker, and this enables you to have materials, to have your models, to work in a space 24/7. So these are spaces for you. Again, different from the traditional classroom. And now, I think to best hear about what one's experience will be like, we want to perhaps hear from a few of our current BDCI students. So I haven't checked the participants here. Let me check everyone is on the call. Yes. So Chloe Liao, she is currently a student class rep, and it's my pleasure to introduce her. So Chloe, could you maybe share 2 to 3 minutes around your overall, what does a typical day look like? How is studio-based learning different than lecture style learning? And what advice would you give new BDCI students as they begin their academic journey?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Chloe, and I'm with Michaela today. We're here at the studio, and I am a first-year student in BDCI. And first, I wanted to say congratulations on getting accepted. This is an awesome program, and all of us are excited to have even more members of the BDCI cohort. A little bit about me is that I'm originally from Kelowna, BC, and I came straight from high school to pursue this degree. I'm really passionate in creating vibrant cities, meaning walkable, human-centric communities. For me, a typical day for me looks like I wake up early and I get to the studio around 8:30 to work on my deliverables for that day. And then I have class, which is usually a design lecture. After that, I usually get something to eat at Mac Hall, which is always a Vietnamese sub from Bake Chef. And then I get back to work before the next class, which is usually studio. And then after that, I stay in the studio to continue working on my projects, or I just hang out with my classmates before I leave around like 6 to 8 p.m. And then once I get home, I continue working if I feel like it, or if I don't, I just go to sleep. Studio-based learning compared to lecture style learning requires a lot of communication with your professors. So our cohort of almost 60 people is often split into 3 sections. And because there are 3 professors teaching studio, each professor gets to give a section of 20 students either a mini lecture about design, or they get to critique our designs at their desk, which we call desk crits. So we get to know the professors well and they get to know us well. It's really nice because you get a more personalized and more in-depth learning experience, which is like nicer than other degrees where you kind of just like sit in lecture halls all day. Every day is like different and it poses its different challenges, but I think that's what makes it fun. A couple of pieces of advice to some BDCI students as they begin their journey is to make friends with everyone in your cohort. You're going to be in the same class of 130 something students for your entire degree, so they will be your greatest help. Being in a cohort of almost 60 people, we're already all close to each other and all of us help each other out, which can be life-saving at times. If you want to get to know each other early, we have a BDCI Discord server. We already have most of the first class on the server, so don't be afraid to say hi, ask questions, and get to know us more. I'll paste the server link in the Zoom chat. So if you don't have a Discord account already, I would highly recommend creating an account to join. My other piece of advice is to ensure that you have a good laptop before September rolls around, or at least save up during the summer if you need to buy one. We will be dealing with very heavy programs like Adobe Suite, Rhino 3D, and even games like Cities Skylines. Gaming laptops are very common with our class, as well as many of the master's students. However, they're pretty clunky and they have like light up keyboards. And in my opinion, I don't know, it's your choice. I started off the year with a MacBook Air, and one of the first things we did was play a game called City Skylines as a competition. And right before we were about to submit, my computer crashed and we lost all of our progress. So I'm one of like the few people in our class who has switched from a MacBook to a Windows laptop. However, before you throw your money at the newest model, I would check the laptop specification recommendation page that I can paste in chat, or Sarah's already pasted in chat, thank you, to see if your existing laptop is good enough. Yeah, and that's everything, I think.
Chloe, thank you so much for that. And I really want to underscore the laptop. That is a very important aspect of a design school. That is something that you will need as an invaluable resource across all 4 years of your experience. So we would highly encourage you to invest in a laptop that has at least 32 gigabytes of RAM, in addition to a graphics card and appropriate other hardware specs. And please check out the link as Chloe mentioned. So we're going to move on to our second student. So Michaela Laxamana, excuse me, apologies. Are you here?
Yes, I'm with Chloe.
Perfect. Michaela, why don't you introduce yourself and address these 3 questions?
Oh yeah, for sure. So hi, I'm Michaela. I'm also first year at BDCI. Congrats on getting accepted. We cannot wait to see you here in September. And a little bit about me is that I am from Calgary and I also came here from high school. So I'm passionate about life in the urban realm and how we can improve our cities through design with inclusion and sustainability. So what does a typical day look like for me? I usually wake up around like pretty early, around 8 in the morning, and I get to studio before 9 or roundup time. I go to class, I attend lectures. We tend to have our lecture-based classes in the morning, and then we have a 2-hour gap for lunch. So that's when we're able to hang out with like our classmates or work on deliverables. I attend studio, also work on deliverables after I get home, and then I go home around like 6 to 8 p.m. around the time Chloe leaves. And I probably am working on more deliverables, but it's different every day. So and with studio-based learning, it's very hands-on and very engaging. The nice thing about it is like it's active learning. So there's a lot of collaboration, communication between students and also professors. It's really nice because like Chloe said, it's very personalized and we tackle a lot of projects that challenge our design thinking skills. studio also fosters like a lot of creativity and innovation. It is a lot of fun. You guys will really enjoy studio a lot. And an advice I want to give to UCI students is to you guys is to please learn how to manage your time. Time management is so important. And like projects will take twice as long as you think they will. Work ethic is definitely really important when coming to this program because it's very project heavy. So like staying consistent with your projects will really help you a lot. But also make sure you take care of yourself, eat consistently, make sure you have enough sleep because if you don't like sleep enough, you won't be able to function as well as you do. And it's just super important to take care of yourself, like on top of things. Like your health is really important. So yeah, time management and look after yourself.
Michaela, thank you so much for that. And I also want to highlight that last aspect about wellness. You know, physical health, getting enough sleep, those are things that are hugely important, and they enable you to be at your best, which is how you want to go about things, because it'll enable better learning and better retention of all the various topics and experiences that you'll be a part of at SAPL. So for our final sort of student experience, we have Michaela Reed Samuel. Michaela, you're on the call.
Yeah, I'm here.
Fantastic. So Michaela, just like Chloe and the other Michaela, could you share with us a typical day? How is studio-based learning different than lecture style learning in your perspective? And what advice would you give new BDCI students?
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Michaela. I'm an international student actually. I'm from Kingston, Jamaica. So this is my first year in Canada as well as my first year at UCalgary, and I'm coming straight out of high school. And a typical day for me is waking up about 2 hours before my first class so that I have enough time to get ready for the day and get to studio. And then at studio, I will settle myself, make sure I have all my deliverables done and ready for the day, greet everyone, get everyone at my table, like say hi, make sure I have everything ready. And then class will start. We'll go through everything that we need to go through and we'll have lunch. I tend to have lunch at the U of C dining hall because I live on campus, which is really great for me. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat till I get there. And then we'll have our studio session, and depending on the amount of work or the type of work that we have to do for the next day, I'll either stay in studio and get work done, or I'll go back to my dorm to work. The more report writing I'll do at my dorm, and the more model making or physical stuff I will do in studio. It's just easier that way for me. How is studio-based learning different from lecture style learning? I think the biggest thing for me is that in studio-based learning, it's way easier to bounce ideas off of your classmates because everybody is in the studio because it's class time, but they're also waiting on the professors to get to their turn. And so it's really easy to just spit ideas back and forth with each other, ask somebody to come over and look at what you're working on. Especially when you get stuck, having a different perspective is just really great to help you push through creative blocks. And that leads me into my advice. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Asking questions of your classmates, of yourself, of your professors, that's like really big because you can't do it on your own sometimes. You do just need someone else to give you an idea or tell you, hey, I think this issue that you're having could be solved like this. That's just really been a big help for me, is asking other people for help.
Michaela, thank you for sharing about your experience. And I think that last part is very important. At the BDCI program, we try and foster a collaborative community. So working with your peers, right? Engaging in conversation. There's a lot of learning to be had in those moments, not just with our faculty members and professors. So again, and the studio space becomes a locus for that sorts of activities because everyone has their permanent desk there that you can access anytime, both in and outside of class, and therefore a lot of work and socializing and friendships are formed within that space. So Chloe, Michaela, and Michaela, thank you so much for sharing about your BDCI student experience. So now we have the Rex challenge. Now I apologize in advance, the cringiest part of this presentation, but we are mandated by the university to include this slide as part of this particular session. So I'm just gonna play it and please keep an open mind.
I'm Rex, the UCalgary mascot and #1 Dinos fan. This incoming class is looking dynamite. Cheering for dinos is my thing. Without you guys, I'd be a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Jurassic times call for Jurassic measures, so I've got a rarsome challenge just for you. Keep an eye on your inbox. You'll receive more details shortly. This challenge will be online, not on the field. So you won't have to worry about getting dinosaur. Complete my challenge and you'll be entered to win the U at UCalgary Rex's Challenge Award valued at 1,000 Canadian dollars. Be sure to watch your email for more instructions after the event. Go Dinos!
So my apologies. Alexa, would you like to maybe share some additional context on the Rex challenge, just for those of us who maybe don't necessarily understand the full extent of what this involves?
Yeah, absolutely. So as a part of you at UCalgary, you'll have the opportunity to participate in the Rex Challenge, which is kind of tied to a scholarship opportunity. So after this event, you'll receive an email. Within that, there'll be a series of videos that you have to watch in order to be able to answer a quiz. And some kind of very simple questions about those videos. And then that enters you, completing that quiz will enter you into a scholarship opportunity kind of draw. So hopefully you'll be able to do that, enter, and then, best of luck with hopefully getting one of those scholarships.
Thank you so much, Alexa. That additional context would have been great to have in the video. But we're not involved in these videos. SAPL videos are the ones we showed earlier. So let's proceed. Okay, so you can now. We also have a participation survey. So please scan this QR code to confirm your participation at the 2024 U at UCalgary event. Alexa, would you also like to say something about this page?
Yeah, so this will also be sent to the central recruiting team just to let them know that you have participated. So we're going to ask for your first name, your last name, and your UCID. And this is going to be able to help them cross-reference to basically confirm that you were here and that you can be eligible for that scholarship opportunity. So please make sure that you complete this survey. I know that we've had quite a few surveys and things for QR codes, but this one is very important for your own benefit for that scholarship opportunity. So please do. And also, I'm going to put my email into the chat. So if you're having any difficulties with this QR code or survey, please email me after this so that I can send you the direct link as well. I was going to post it in the chat, but it is quite a long link that won't work for the Zoom chat. But please email me if you're having any difficulties.
Thank you so much, Alexa. So again, this QR code allows you to confirm your participation and attendance at this event, which is what makes you eligible to participate and potentially win a scholarship. So very important. So again, congratulations. In order for you to stay connected, please email us at bdci@saplucalgary.ca. We're here to help you along the way. So you can email, call, or drop in by the office at main campus if you have questions or need additional supports. You're going to be joining a community of students who are changing the world and making a healthier, more vibrant, sustainable, and equitable place to be. So congratulations once again. And I think now we can take questions. So maybe I'll just stay down here.
Thanks. Yes. So if you do have a question, please put it into the chat, and then we will be happy to answer those. And your question could be for anyone on the panel today. So if you do have a question that you would like to direct to the students, you can let us know. We can have their input, or we have Sarah here who can help us with anything registration related or program related. And of course, Alberto as well, who is our expert of all things BDCI and design and everything. All right. Okay, I have my first question that's come in here. Oh, and I should also mention, like this person has done, if you'd like, you can direct your question at me if you don't want the whole, like all of the attendees here to see it, who it's coming from to keep it anonymous. So as you mentioned about the City Building Design Lab and SAPL, where will the classes be located for BDCI?
So that's a fantastic question. The classes for the BDCI program will be all located on main campus. So the studio is going to be on the second floor, and all the other courses are going to be also either on the second or third floor of the professional faculties building, which is our main building in the main campus.
And another part of that came in, can I see the space before September?
Absolutely. I think we probably have a few tours or other events going on over the summer. But I think the building is sort of open, generally open. But I think Alexa, perhaps you could share more details for those who are interested in visiting the professional faculties building ahead of September.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And the students who are in the studio were just showcasing it for us, which is really cool that they're there today. But yes, absolutely. If you'd like to see the spaces in the professional faculties building on main campus for SAPL, I'm very, very happy to show you around. We'll also have some coordinated kind of tours that you can join as well. That'll be posted on our website, but you can always email us at the BDCI at sapl.ucalgary.ca email to request a tour, or you can email me directly. I'm very happy to show you around. Things might change between now and September, but generally you'll get a good sense of where we are on campus and where the classes will be held in September. Okay, perfect. Now we have another question that's come in. Which day can we start registering for classes?
So perhaps Sarah, I'll defer that question to you.
So I would say first things first, definitely check out the BDCI degree planning page. So on that page there under the video resources, there are multiple links to different areas associated with registration, which includes one that's titled When to Register. So I would recommend definitely watching that video. They're all under 10 minutes typically. So it's just a quick way to show you where to find your enrollment start time, how that's determined, what you do when you register. So definitely take a look at that. For some students, if they're having trouble figuring out like what's their enrollment start time or something isn't showing, it might be because you haven't paid the deposit yet or there might be something missing. So double check that as well. But I would recommend first going through the video, walking through yourself first. And if you do have any issues, you can then email me at bbci@sample.ucalgary.ca. Make sure you include screenshots of any errors or things that you're not seeing, in case it is a technical issue, and then I can pass it on to any of my colleagues if I need to work with IT on it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Okay, we have another question. How do I add a concentration or minor?
So Sarah, I'll also defer to you for that question.
Sure. So all BDCI students will come in doing the BDCI general pathway, and they have the option of applying for the concentration, so the architecture or landscape architecture concentration in their second year. So at this point, in terms of your concentrations, you will wait. We will always give you more information as you approach probably near the mid or end of your first year to plan for your second year and what to do. In terms of a minor, you can also apply starting in your second year, and that is through an internal process called change of program. This is where you can add your concentration, your minor, things like that. And I would say use this time right now to look at what you need for your first year and enjoy your first year and experience all the different things, because you coming in now, you might have in your mind a plan for minor or concentration, and that may change in your first year as you go to the different classes and classmates and instructors. So I would say for now, the minor and concentration won't be a big issue. I would do recommend talking to me once you get here, and then we can talk about what that looks like, how you can start planning towards it. But if you follow the recommended program guide, your first year will already be set in terms of your design courses. So there won't be much chance for you to kind of move into the other courses yet.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you.
Sarah.
All right, we have another one here about from an international student who says, are there specific international student supports available on campus?
Sarah, I'll defer to you on that question.
I'll jump in first. So just put in there the International Student Services page. So that's just in our chat right now. So I do recommend that all international students do visit the advisors there at least once. I recommend at least once a year, just to make sure you're meeting all the requirements. I know some students are trying to meet that post-graduation working permit stipulations. So it's really good to make sure that you are following those guidelines and that you're not veering off of what is required from the government. So things that would likely be outside of our control if you didn't follow, because we can't really help you with that piece. So definitely talk to those advisors, and that page has a lot of resources that you can refer to. And I will actually slightly bounce it over to Michaela Reed Samuel, because I know you mentioned you're an international student. Any other advice that you would give to our international students here?
Yeah, so like Sarah said, definitely go see the ISS. They are super helpful for any concerns that you could possibly have. And if they don't know, they know who to ask. And on top of that, there are clubs around campus that are specific to certain regions, to certain cultural backgrounds and heritages. They're definitely great. You should check them out. They're all super exciting. And also, really just going around and speaking to other people on campus, getting those different perspectives, it just can be super helpful to hear that that what you're experiencing isn't completely new and focused on you. It's something that everybody goes through, and they can give you support and advice, and it's all just making sure that you reach out.
Excellent.
Sarah, Michaela, thank you for sharing that. Yes, go ahead, Alexa.
No, thank you so much. Excellent. Great to have that insight. Yeah, let us know if there's anything else that we can do to support you as well. But they're a great resource. What happens if a class is full? What does the waiting list scene look like?
So I'll defer to Sarah on this, but for all design courses, so all courses that are home to SAPL, so with the DSGN course code, that will never be an issue because we always have enough course space for all the students in those courses. Courses outside of SAPL are a different experience, given that we don't necessarily control those. So, Sarah, is there anything you'd like to add to this?
You touch on all the main points. I think the biggest thing is for non-design courses, we work with those faculties to make sure that there's room for our students. But because we have the design version of most of these classes, my recommendation is if it is full, the one that you're trying to get into, and there's a design version of it, make sure you get into the design version just to save a spot. You can join the waitlist. And I do recommend connecting with me after you've done your registration. If you're on a wait list, we can talk about what that looks like. Again, I will point to the BDCI degree planning page. It is a very helpful page, and I think a lot of the incoming students right now, like direct from high school or from transfer, your enrollment start time is likely in April and May. So use this time right now to watch those videos, to kind of note down your notes, important aspects, and then go through the enrollment phase, and then connect with me after if you encounter any issues. Wait lists are there, but not for all classes. It really does depend on the faculty offering it. SAPL does have a wait list, but as Alberto mentioned, we do plan to make sure that there's enough space for all of our students. And we do also make sure that for those non-SAPL courses where they are required for your progression, we have a designed version of it so that you're not stuck without one course. You have another way to get in and progress.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. All right, we have some more questions that just came in all at once. So this isn't specific for classes, but someone's asking how and where do they access their UCalgary email? Is there a specific app? Do they log on through Gmail? How do they do it? They're not sure how to see emails that they have been receiving there.
Sarah, might you have insight into this question?
Yes. So I would say definitely pay attention to the main email provided when you apply for U of C, because that is going to be the initial email that they're going to be sending to for all the information. So things like the initial newsletters, how to figure out registration, any links that we as SAP will share with Central to then share with you. Make sure that you're checking those emails. So just as an aside, we work with Central Admissions, but we don't actually have access to student contacts until much later, until you officially become our students. So these newsletters that you're receiving right now aren't from us directly. They're from our colleagues in Central Admissions. We do pass on information for them to share with you, but we don't have your emails. So a lot of times I find out after when you reach out to us directly, like, hey, yeah, I'm an incoming student. I'm like, great. So make sure you read those emails, and the survey we sent out, that web form where you fill out your incoming information, that's also another way to keep us informed. Who's coming, who are you, and your preferences and things like that. So those really help us know who to reach out to ahead of time if possible. So engaging with us through those links that you see in those emails is important. I did actually share a link there in the chat where it talks about setting up your IT account and your UCalgary email account. So definitely take a look at that, see how and when you can start setting it up. Sometimes Central will have certain requirements like you need to pay your deposit, you have X, Y, Z complete before you can do it. So there are contacts there where you can connect with someone to help you through with that if you encounter any issues. But I would say main focus is check your email. If you're using a Gmail account or a Yahoo account, make sure you're reviewing that one frequently. I do have students sometimes where they don't check in until August and they're like, oh crap, I missed a lot of stuff. And I'm like, oh no. So we don't have a way to remind you sometimes because we rely on Central Admissions to connect with you. So make sure you double check what you've used in your application. And then once you set up your UCalgary account, I do recommend checking both. What I tell my current students right now too is set it up on your phone so you get those notifications and you can double check if that is your main source of reviewing your.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Sarah. Excellent. And hopefully you can start connecting via email because as Sarah mentioned, we do have some very helpful things on those newsletters coming out. All right. Do you have support for people who have learning disabilities?
So I'll maybe start with this one, and then Sarah, if you could fill in the gaps. So the answer is absolutely. We have a student success center that takes in and prepares sort of customized plans for individual students to meet their needs. So I would highly encourage you to reach out if you know that you might need additional accommodations in order to make your time at SAPL a productive one. Sarah, would you like to add to that?
Yep, I dropped 2 links in the chat right now. So we have the Student Success Center, as Alberto mentioned. They have learning strategists there that you can connect with to talk about topics like exam anxiety, learning approaches, note taking, if you're dealing with procrastination, as I know many of us do, they are also really helpful to chat with about strategies that you could approach in terms of your learning. The other thing I also shared is student accessibility services, and I do recommend checking in with those folks earlier on. So the SAS is a very good place to talk to someone about any learning disabilities or anything that you might need accommodations for, and going through the formal route of setting something up with them. And with SAS, they do require documentation at times to help process any formal accommodations that you may need in classes. It's also a good place to chat with an advisor about, will you need accommodations based on a certain situation? So I do recommend doing that. And overall, I would also say, as you come in, definitely connect with your peers in your cohort, as well as our first, soon to be second year students, because they've actually gone through all of that, and they know how it's like, what are some things that might be difficult or challenging, and just bouncing off ideas with them to see, what are some approaches that they've used that have worked. So I definitely want to connect with the community as well, like connect with your instructors when you're here, if you're encountering any difficulties as well, to see if there's any tips. And then last thing of all is, if you've tried everything and you're not sure, or if you're at the very beginning and you're not sure how to navigate it, do come chat with me, because I do have a lot of information about different resources that you can go to, or any tips, things I've come across when I work with students and faculty here. So definitely connect with someone and reach out for help. And everyone is different, so what someone else does might not be the same as what you would do. So we can connect and talk about what that tailored look would look like for you specifically.
Perfect. Thank you so much for both of you. Great resources there. Yeah, let us know if you need any additional help. All right, so we have one more question that's come in here, and we are approaching the end here. So I think this will be our last, but what is the difference between the regular version of the course and the design version of the course in terms of difficulty and progression towards completing the degree?
Fantastic question. Thank you, whoever put that in, because I think it's a question that many of your peers might have. So, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the presentation, the Bachelor of Design and City Innovation program is structured as a transdisciplinary design foundation to issues in the built environment, and to prepare students to either go into a city building field or prepare them for graduate studies in architecture, planning, or landscape architecture. And as a result, we value cross-pollination between disciplines. So we aren't only teaching design, we aren't only teaching architecture or planning or landscape architecture. It's incredibly important to also teach sustainability and entrepreneurship and data science and computational design. And these other aspects enrich the sort of the methods and skills that you'd be taught, the ways in which you can sort of process information and data, and then the types of ideas and innovations that can take place within the various contexts. So because of that, courses like data science and entrepreneurship and sustainability, you have two different options to complete those courses. You can either take the courses from the home units. So the sustainability certificate and SUS courses are part of the Faculty of Arts. Entrepreneurship courses are with Haskayne, the Haskayne School of Business. And then data science is, computer science, Faculty of Science. So these options are to provide additional enrichment around the BDCI curriculum. However, we also recognize that it's important to have these various explorations also be aligned closely with design thinking and design sort of methods. So students get the option to either, for example, data science 201, they can either take it under the rubric of computer science, or they can take the SAPL version, which will be more themed to the design disciplines, right? So there are pros to both, right? If you take the SAPL versions, any course deadlines around assignments or assessments are going to be aligned and coordinated with all the other design courses, assignments and deadlines. to ensure that there's not overlap that's going to cause additional stress. These courses are also going to be really well coordinated with other courses in the same semester, following semesters, or the overall curriculum. And their, applicability is going to be a bit tighter than if you take it outside of SAPL. However, if you do decide that you want to take the more sort of the pure computer science or the pure entrepreneurship from those home units in other faculties across the university, they enable you to pursue a minor or a certificate in those programs. So that's also as like a part of your degree that you're able to cultivate if that's something that you're interested in, right? So, which one to take is perhaps personal preference. Um, you know, maybe Chloe and Michaela, perhaps you could briefly speak to, from the student side, what's going into considerations between the various options.
So we took Sustainability 201 and Entrepreneurship 201 this year. I think Sustainability 201 was a really great course. It was very general. It didn't really touch on the built environment that much, but it really, you really started learning about like systems thinking, how to make a systems thinking map, which was very helpful for like our winter courses right now. However, if you wanted a more like design focused sustainability course, you can go with the design part. But I think Sustainability 201, and it's really just like whatever, if you would rather have the built environment or the general, and then the general is like you can get the sustainability certificate if you want to go for it. Entrepreneurship 201. It's do you want to speak on that?
So entrepreneurship, it it really like is very different from like regular SAPL courses. The one they're offering is more like design focused, but right now it's more focused on marketing and like a lot of aspects that have to do with business because it is a half-day class. It's also it's pretty
Intensive.
heavy. It's
Yeah.
pretty heavy. Like although you have your other SAPL courses, it's definitely one of the classes that you have to stay consistent and like work on just as much, I'd say. But you can choose between the two. I'd say like NT is pretty good if you want to get your certificate like NT as well. I don't know, I forgot what it's called, but and, I'd say like if you want to just focus on design, then to the design focus and NT would be a lot better.
Yeah.
For me, one of the big things that I always consider is that the other courses, like the ones at the home bases, those are going to have people from other programs in it. It's not just going to be your cohort doing it. So that's something that I would consider because in the design courses, especially, you're seeing the same people all the time. So if you want to really branch out and meet other people, that is a good way to do it, especially since these courses are pretty collaborative as well. When we did SUST and data science and entrepreneurship, we all had group work, and some of them you got to pick your groups, and so you ended up with a lot of SAPL people. And in others, you don't get to pick your groups, and that can then put you in meeting people from Tascane or arts or really anywhere. So that is one thing to consider.
And I'll add just as a takeaway, if you are waffling between the two, please enroll in the non-SAPL version first, because for your non-SAPL classes, we have negotiated with other faculties to set something called reserve caps. So there are seats saved for students in those classes. If you do not enroll in time and those reserve caps lift, likely they're going to fill up really quickly, and then you are stuck with the design version of that course unless you're able to get into that other class. So these classes are typically very popular. So my recommendation is if you're deciding right now, pick the non-SAPL version first and chat with me as well in terms of the pros and cons of each choice. And then after that, if you need to swap, you can always swap them to the design version.
I think that's a fantastic suggestion. Chloe, Michaela, and Michaela, also thank you for sharing your perspectives. I think either option is a great one. And I think it comes down to, are you interested in pursuing a specific minor or certificate? And most likely you will only be able to pursue one certificate or minor, not multiples. So in that sort of vein of thinking, you likely will only need to necessarily take one type of course outside of SAPL, so like all the SUS courses, for instance, or all the data and computer science courses, but not both, because you won't there won't be enough time in your schedule in the 4 years to achieve multiple certificates or multiple minors unless you wanted to extend your degree program. So that's another consideration. And I'm biased, I'm gonna advocate for the design options, the design course options, but I'm biased. And so please take into consideration what the students have said, what Sarah has said, and if you have further questions, you can reach out to us and we can have a conversation.
Well, we do have one more question that might be important for people. So let's just quickly cover that. And then that is our last question. I want to thank everyone for your extended time on the call today. So, and I also dropped the participation survey into the chat. So please complete that if you haven't yet. So the last question here, I'm wondering if all of the first year required courses for BDCI are exactly all of the courses we need in our first year, or do we need to enroll in general, English, math, etc.?
So whatever is on that recommended guide is what you want to follow. And so I would make sure to check the BDCI degree planning page. I know I've mentioned that page multiple times, but lots of resources there. There is the general guide of your progression for 4 years, including what you need to take in your first year. But there's also a quick reference guide that shows you all the courses you need to get into, as well as the lecture or lab section, just to help you and make it quick for you when you're selecting the schedule builder or course search. So I highly recommend you get that. There are no other things like taking English or whatnot. Those are mostly if you prefer to. Again, take a look at those guides, and if you have questions, definitely follow up with me. There was a program advising page that we have linked in there. So on that page, you can see how you can connect with me. You can come in for virtual drop-in advising or in-person drop-in advising. There's also a way to book with me for an appointment in both modalities, in person or virtual. And there's also a lot of recordings that you can refer to as well for your reference. So definitely take a look at that. One big thing is making sure to check the times of for drop-in, because I'm not necessarily always at the office. So if you come in, someone might not be able to help you, or if you come in, I might be in the middle of a meeting. So please refer to those times. And we often do have more times when it's closer to peak periods, like when you're registering. So just pay attention to that. We do try our best to help you out. And as always, you can email bbci@sapl.ucalgary.ca if you have any questions.
Great. That was our last question. I want to thank everyone so much for your participation and your attendance and today, and congratulations again on being accepted to the program. We are very excited to get to meet you soon. Hopefully you'll be able to read some of our upcoming newsletters and attend the Ready for September event in July. Anyways, thank you so much to Alberto for the presentation, to the students for your unique and very valuable insights and perspectives. And yeah, please email us if you have any questions. Looking forward to seeing you.